Every life has a story, and every story is worth sharing. Your story, my story, and our story speak of victory and defeat, joy and sorrow, resilience and vulnerability. They are not just our story, they are Christ's story in us. They are Kingdom Stories from Down Under.
Welcome to Kingdom Stories. Tonight here in the studio, I have a good friend with whom I had the privilege of journeying since early 2000s. I visited the church in Villa Alba near Rome in Italy almost 20 years ago, probably more than 20 years ago, in fact 21 years ago. And there I met Carmen and then her husband, whom we interviewed here, Alex. And tonight we'll talk a lot about the journey in between. But it's an absolute joy to have at Kingdom Stories Carmen Savencu. Welcome, Carmen.
Good to see you. It's a pleasure to be here.
From Rome, Italy to Perth, Australia. What a journey, eh?
Yes, it is a journey, a wonderful journey.
Born in Romania.
Born in Romania, originally from heaven.
From heaven, yeah.
Which I believe everyone is.
Yes.
And from an amazing family that I really love.
Yeah.
And love being here.
So what took you to Italy?
God.
That's the easy answer.
That was God. It was after giving my life to Christ in 2000, coming from an Orthodox family.
Oh, so your family is Orthodox, they're not Christian? Were. Okay.
So I was the first one coming to Christ.
Okay.
By grace, God chose me, picked me up.
Yeah.
Then I started praying for all my family, and my mom came to Christ, my dad, my grandma, my brother.
Wow.
Actually, my mom, my brother, my grandma. Then we prayed for my dad for 11 years. He came to Christ too, and then it was just history.
Wow.
God did amazing things. So I was the first one.
How did you become a Christian?
I think God just chose me from before He knew me, and from young I really loved God, and my family even though they were Orthodox, we always loved going to church. We always loved worshiping God and looking for Him. And
were you in a village, a town, or a city?
In a city,
in a city.
Botoshan.
Okay, Boston.
In Bostonville, right in the city, in the middle.
Okay.
In the block apartments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Communist blocks. And you went to an Orthodox church for many years.
Yes, and then I went to. My dad used to work with a born again guy.
Yes.
Let's say like that, and all his family were born again. And then I had the privilege to stay for the holiday for 2 months with them, and I fell in love with the way of life in a village, the countryside. I love countryside. I love animals. I love working in the fields.
So you spend your summer holidays with them?
Yes. And
how many? There would have been many kids there.
There were like 12 children.
Okay.
I think.
Nice.
So.
How old were you?
I was, I think, 9 maybe.
Oh, they're young.
9. So in my heart, just
so
started.
you would have gone to church with them.
Yeah, I went to church and I saw them. I saw them loving God like more than what we know, because you actually have a different way of knowing God. Yeah. So something just went into my heart, like to search for God, and I wanted to go to church, but I was not allowed because my dad, my mom, they were like, "Oh, everyone, you can't go," because it was a different perspective of born again people, So, but I really wanted to seek Him. So later on, I had the opportunity to go to a church in the city.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with all the songs and the worship, and I felt God, and I cried, and for me it was the turning point. But then my grandma said, no way. So I was persecuted by my grandma for a while. She never wanted to hear that I give my heart to Christ or anything. Then in 2000, an opportunity came to go into a Christian camp with a German guy, Lutz Noack.
Okay.
And for me it was huge because that's where I gained my voice back. I lost it by having a very bad cold. Tusimagaraska, if you know the like donkey cough, something like that. And then God restored my voice, which was for me was a miracle. It was like a yes, I need to follow God. Then there also God spoke to me and opened my eyes, and I started realizing from the Bible how God is speaking to us, and I started feeling Him, and it was the joy that those children had, and their lives. I wanted it. So I said, no, that's it. I don't care what my family is saying. I don't care what anyone will say. I just need to follow Christ. So I said to my grandma, I said to everyone, I don't care if you're against me, I'm going to church. And my life just turned 360 degrees.
180.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, it was amazing. So then my brother started seeing. My brother is younger than me with 4 years. And he started annoying me all the time. He said, now that you're born again, you can't get upset. So he would try anything just to annoy me so bad. And I was trying to be calm and everything. So I had a quite hard beginning, but I loved it. Every day I was at church, choir, youth. I took it all day. I was singing in the house, so my parents were like, what's going on? You know, like, so yeah, that's my turning point.
And how, so did you finish school?
Yes.
And then what did you do?
I started praying for a husband.
Oh, you were ready.
So I started fasting.
Yeah.
That was my amazing story with my husband. I started fasting. I had 3 days Esther's fast.
Yes.
Which you don't eat and you don't drink.
Yes.
I had sores in my mouth, but I said, God, you need to show me the husband that you prepared for me. And then I took 2-week fast. And then I used to go to let's say like Salvation Army church, kind of. And my husband was going to a Baptist church. So one morning after fasting, God just sends a thought in my head. Says, you go to the Baptist church. Alone. I never been there. And that's where I saw Alexandra. And in my head, I started putting, questions and said, God, if it's your will, and that's my husband, I fell in love, of course, at first sight. And I said, if God's will for me is to be with him, he will show me the way. Everywhere I was going with the youth, going to mission trip in the countryside, Alexandra was the driver. Going there, Alexandra was there. Going there, he was saying poems in the church. On the 1st of May, we spoke for the first time, and we only chatted for 2.5 weeks, and he asked me for marriage.
Whoa.
So by God's grace, at 19.5, I got married to my husband. Of course, yes.
So you got married in Romania?
Got married in Italy.
In Italy?
In Rome.
Why in Rome? He left.
Because it's romantic.
He left. And he
left, and then, I went and married.
Wow.
Yes.
That would have shocked the family even further.
Yes.
You get Christian, you become a born-again believer, then you're getting married in Rome, you're leaving the country. So you went to Rome to be married to him?
Yes.
Not knowing anything about Italy or anything?
I learned Italian at home, so I was fluent in Italian.
When you knew that you were going to go to Italy?
No.
Before that?
Yes. I love the language.
Wow.
At school, I learned French.
Yeah.
And Russian, which I don't like Russian, but
as you did
I loved French. But I took dictionaries and books and
You learned
I
a lot.
learned by myself, and Spanish too, by watching telenovelas.
Soap operas.
Yeah. So
Wow. So you went to Italy
I went to Italy.
legally?
Yes, actually, that was just 3-4 months before they opened the borders, and you didn't need the visa. So I needed the visa, which was a huge amount of money.
You paid for that. You bought
Yes, 2,000 American dollars at
Wow.
that time was huge.
that. And then you went by bus or by train or by plane?
By bus and
Coach.
yeah,
Wow. So you got married in a church in Rome,
Yes.
in Villa Alba?
yes,
It was Pentecostal church or Baptist church or evangelical church?
yeah,
Evangelical church. Wow.
and we had Italian testimonies, and it was really nice.
So what sort of work were you doing in Italy?
I was doing lots of work in aged care, in restaurants, babysitting, whatever was available.
And Alex was working construction?
He's a tiler.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
So what brought you to Australia? How long were you in Italy first?
3 years, 3 years and a half, I think. Alex more, obviously. But
Did he have an attempt in the container while he was married as well? Or two?
no, before he met me.
So you'll have to go and watch Alex Savencu's podcast if you want to know what he did and how he had journeyed into US via containers. So this was before marriage?
Before marriage.
Okay.
God didn't allow him to go to Canada or America. He said, go back to that girl. I was praying for you.
And then how did you come to Australia? You came on a visitor's visa or?
We came as visitors. Our youngest son was 1 and 2 months.
Yeah.
He was born in Rome, Lucas. And we asked God if it was his will to come here, that we will be able to remain. In those days, you couldn't stay.
Yeah.
So, but God worked in such amazing, miraculous ways that one door was shutting, another door was opening. So by faith, we received dreams, we received prophecies, and we will remain here.
Yeah.
So we just went by faith, and God did amazing, miraculous things. So yeah, even laws changed for us.
Just so you can stay here.
So we can stay. Yeah.
Wow. You also came with us to the mission field in Indonesia a couple of times.
That was my dream come true.
Yeah?
Yes, I would do it every single year.
Do you remember which years? Was it 2009 that you came?
You just turned 40. And you just had that first book, 40 years.
40 years and 40 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
we celebrated, you remember, with lots of rambutan, fruits, and yeah, that was the most beautiful. I love mission. I love mission field. I will do it constantly. That's what I'm trying to do here.
He was 4 years old, Lucas?
Alex Daniel.
Alex was 4 years old, wasn't he?
Yes.
The youngest missionary we ever had with us.
And blonde.
And Lucas was 11?
No, they're 6 years apart, so he would have been 10.
10 and 4, yeah. Wow.
And he was blonde and really white, fair skin. And everyone, they were touching them and touching their hair, taking pictures.
Yeah.
And Lucas knew Indonesian from school.
Yeah.
And we sang songs, and so beautiful.
Wow.
I love those children. Those experiences are just incredible.
And it was quite rugged. I mean, people don't realize how rugged Indonesia jungles can be.
Yes.
We were out in the sticks, raining on us,
Pouring rain. I never saw
soaked
such rain in my life, like pouring bucket.
Yeah, in the back of the truck.
And you remember we went from that faraway village through the pouring rain. The driver was there. Alex, the youngest, was in between.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the driver was driving. The wind was cutting through, like the face, and oh wow, it was amazing. They're really amazing. Those drivers.
Yeah, world class.
Wow.
Yeah. but the way the Lord used you to touch lives. And then you came back again. You came twice, didn't you?
No, Alex
came twice. Oh,
yeah.
so Alex came first on his own.
Yes.
And the second time he brought you.
Do you remember how?
Yeah.
I just gave birth.
Yeah.
I just gave birth to Alex Daniel.
Yeah.
My husband comes to maternity.
Okay.
And he's asking me, Nati just asked me to go into a mission trip. What do you say? I just started crying because that was my prayer.
Yeah.
I said, I really want my husband to be part of the mission field and everything. So he said, he put like a question to God, like a sign.
Yeah.
If my wife will hesitate, the smallest thing, I will not go.
Yeah.
But if she says yes from the first time, I'll go.
Yeah.
So imagine the wife gives birth and she says yes. So that was amazing. So yeah, I was really happy. He went and he had an amazing encounter with God. The amazing things that happen there, and people, you don't feel them, you don't find them here. The spiritual realm, the spiritual.
It's a different, and you go prepared, in a sense, for that battle.
Yeah, I was prepared.
I think that year when Alex came, we had like 24 people or 25
people we were, yeah.
Yeah, it was just incredible, you know. It's a massive mission.
I love the trips with in the big cars, the truck, open truck. You remember? From the
millions cars.
And not just that, the trees.
Yeah.
Just
branches coming in, you had to duck.
Yeah.
Luckily, you're not that tall, but everybody had to duck. And
it was fun.
Tell you what, very dangerous. Very dangerous.
But fun.
True.
And the joy that those children are having, what really struck me was seeing a church of 200-300 children.
Yeah.
Coming all alone, none of them with parents, and singing all those songs without any lyrics, nothing. They're all from their hearts.
Yeah.
And the presence of God was just so thick. Like, you can never feel that here. Yeah. I don't know why. Their hearts are so pure.
Yeah,
and so hungry.
It's also because we are so distracted by so many things, whereas they're fully present in that moment. And for them, that is alive, which is beautiful. I think simpler life connects you better to the divine and spiritual, because you're more ready.
Yes.
Whereas here we're so cluttered with so much, even our minds are so preoccupied, day and night. They just go over and over. But it is a beautiful experience, and it grounds you, and you realize it actually gives you a bit of perspective, doesn't it?
Yes.
You're very grateful. Did your children become more grateful afterwards? Did they?
Yes, they did.
Mark it? Did it touch them?
Yes. And
Lucas would have been a lot older, so he would have understood things.
He always loved God and always was a little missionary. We used to do Jesus bread together with Costea and Anita Opranescu. And he was a little missionary. That's how they called him. As he used to be a few days in a week with me, doing parcels for all the new arrivals in Australia. Muslims, Hindus, we used to go and pray and be with them and teach them how to cook and bring them food and love. And he grew up with that. So it's in his heart.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Does Alex still remember the Indonesia trip, do you think? Or you have to show me photos?
Bit. I think so, yeah. I think he remembers the motorbikes. He said he remembers the motorbikes. And the little plants that we used to touch.
Yeah, and
they're closing. So he remembers that. And the waterfalls.
Oh, he came at the waterfall as well?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Wow.
It's just so amazing that when I came to Christ, my first book that I read as Christian book was Genoveva.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of the book.
And the love that she had for mission and everything, that inspired me.
Yeah.
And the love for people I learned from Costea Opranescu and Anita. I said, God, I want to love people the way you do. Not as people see them, just the way you see them. So I inspired my kids too. To be like that, and my husband. So I think that's the most beautiful thing that someone can have, love for people the way God does. So for me, I don't know if you know, but I am a miracle.
Okay.
I was born again premature,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very little.
You were born again premature?
Again, born premature.
Born premature, yeah.
And born again.
Prematurely, yeah, no, never premature. It was born again.
And I struggle a lot with health and stuff. So I am a miracle if you know all the history. So what God did in my life, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
And standing here and speaking to you.
I know, with the incident with Alex and the accident with the boat, your husband, how did that affect you?
That is an amazing story.
Because he nearly died, of course.
Yes.
He was probably out of body.
Yes. So what happened, if you know Pastor Angus Bachen?
Yes.
That
Mighty
did,
man.
yes.
Fed like potatoes.
That fed like potatoes. His nephew came to Northway Christian Church.
Mm-hmm.
And right that year, just one night before my husband had the accident. So it was the 2nd of January 2011. He came and preached there, and he prophesied. Me and my husband went in front, and he prophesied over us, and we were willing to go the extra mile for God.
Yeah.
And he said, "Are you ready to go through fire?" We said yes. "Are you ready for big challenges in your life?" We said yes. I have goosebumps now. We both say yes. He prayed for us. And then that happened next day.
Next day?
Next day, we went like 6 families together to Basselton, to one of the Christian camps. And on the way, he was in the car with Johnny Onofre.
Yeah.
And they were listening to a sermon. They would say the same thing. Are you ready to go the extra mile with God? Are you ready to go through different trials? Are you ready to, to go through things for God to be glorified?
Yeah.
But we all said, yes, we are ready. So when we arrived there, I was preparing for pizza. We had the pizza oven with us.
Yeah.
We had our dinghy. Everyone wanted to go on the water.
Yeah.
To do the fun thing,
Yes.
the tubing, right? The little donut behind the boat, tied up. So one of John Talper's kids, Johnny, was in the donut. And we did this sport with many churches all the time. We were experts, right?
Yeah.
Alex was an expert. He always had people with him on the boat.
Yes.
That day, no one went in the boat with him.
Just him and Johnny.
Yeah, not just him in the boat and Johnny in the tube.
Yeah.
So he didn't realize, but when he went in the water, he hit a sandbar.
Yeah.
The sandbar tipped a bit the boat. He fell out. And what happened? The boat didn't switch.
Yeah.
The switch key. Yeah. He had it, but I don't know what happened.
Oh.
So he went and the boat kept on going round and round the circle. So I think he wanted to stop it because Johnny was in the donut. And the boat came. He put his hand like that, and the propeller just went on top of his arm, cut 5 cuts, and all his skull. You could see the brain.
Wow.
It was that open. And instantly he became left side paralyzed. He was sinking.
Yeah.
He told us after. He was sinking, going down, down, down. And then he felt someone just lifting him up from the water. Lifting, because he couldn't swim anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the left side paralyzed. So he felt that someone just lifted him back up on the surface of the water. Then Johnny came, jumped out of the tube, came and held him up, but there were sharks.
Wow.
They're everywhere, sharks. So Johnny was scared of the sharks. But it was amazing that God protected them. And suddenly just 2 guys from the tents went with their boat, picked them up.
Yeah.
And they knew what to do. They knew how to put him head down,
position,
elevated, everything until the paramedics came. And that was the most amazing story because when the girls came and told me at the tent, even though it's a scary news, but I just had such a faith and peace that I never would have had in my life. I knew that God is in control. I don't know, I just felt it. In the meantime, the ambulance came, the paramedics came, they put the collar, everything on him. And when I lift up my hands off of my husband, that's when he said that his spirit left from his body. He could see himself like 30 meters high, carried by the paramedics. And I quickly went to pick up all the documents for the hospital.
Yes.
And in that moment, he said his spirit just went through some clouds, and he arrived in a place where there was nothing but a pure, bright, peaceful light. A peaceful place that you could never feel or see that light, that bright light. That is so amazing. He wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
He stayed there for a while. Then he heard an audible voice in Italian. It's not your time yet. Non è il tuo tempo ancora. Which, like, it was really strong and really powerful. That's the moment that I left. I took my hands off of him. Then I called our pastor at that time was Chinyama Kangombe. And I called him and I called Johnny and I said, look what happened. And he said, just pray. Just whatever the doctor said that happened or has, do not receive it in your heart.
Yeah.
For me, that was key.
Yes.
A key word. So I didn't receive absolutely anything in my heart. I knew that God is with him and God is doing the miracle. So in that moment, he was dead.
Yeah.
Clinically, on the papers, half an hour, he was dead.
Absent.
Dead.
Yeah.
And they tried to bring him back. And the pastor just said, go in the ambulance and put your hands on him and start praying. As soon as I put my hands on him, I started declaring life. He said he came like a thunder back into his body.
Yeah.
And he didn't feel any pain.
Yeah.
No pain. God took all the pain away. Can you imagine the 5 big cuts? You could see the bone.
And the skull.
And the skull. I was here. He was with the head here on the table. I had my purse. 3 big bath towels were filled with blood. And my feet, my bag, everything was filled with just dripping. And when we arrived at the hospital in Basselton, I went with him in the ambulance. All the nurses, all the doctors, oh, he's so lucky, he's so lucky. This is unbelievable. How he's still alive? I said, he's not lucky. I said, he is blessed.
Yeah.
He is blessed.
Yeah.
I said, God protected him and God has a big plan for him. And they were like shocked. What is she talking about?
Yeah.
I just had so much faith. In the ambulance, I just tried to keep him awake. He said he's feeling tired. It feels like sleeping. And we prayed. We said our Father's prayer. We sang in the ambulance. And there, they took all the scans in the hospital. And Johnny and John Pop, we prayed for him when he came in the room. And we just declare life and healing and everything. And all the doctors and all the nurses were astonished about the miracle because he's still alive.
Yeah.
Then they didn't allow me to fly with him. He had the flying doctors.
Yes.
And I just remained with everyone. And next day, I went, John Pop and his wife took me back into Perth with the kids. And that night, constantly, I just thank God for his healing. And I just had so much peace. And God, I was just outside in a tent with a little light. We couldn't go back straight away. And God was just giving me verses from the Bible and just encouraging me. And I just felt such a peace. And then there were intercessors in Zambia, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, everyone, Romania, just praying for him.
Yeah.
So the doctor said, we do not have doctors to operate on him. It's quite severe. Most of the doctors that they do this kind of operations, they are in holidays. 3rd of January,
Yeah.
Everyone is in holiday. It's like August in Romania.
Yeah.
So what happened? They told me, we'll just stitch him and give him back to you like that. He's left side paralyzed. If we do any operation, the doctors don't want to take the chances, and it will be a bad report on there. And if anything happens,
On their CV.
yeah. So they were scared. And I said, can you please try to do your best, and God will do the rest?
Yeah.
And I have faith that you will find someone to do something. And they said, we will try then, if that's your wish, but you need to sign for incineration. Verbal signing for incineration. I said, okay, we'll do whatever you need to do, but please try. After praying and praying and praying, back and forth, talking with my pastor, and he said, yeah, we're just praying, don't give up.
Yeah.
I just knew it will be fine. They called me nearly in the morning, saying that they found the doctor from Sydney coming in the morning and did the operation for him.
Wow.
That was amazing. So the doctor flew. Already Pastor Chinyama was there 7 o'clock, anointed him.
Yeah.
And guess what? On the 5th of February,
he was operating.
He was best man at our pastor's wedding.
On the 5th of February.
So this
within
was third. This was 4th of.
Within a month.
Within a month. Wow. So he said, "Man, don't die on me. You're my best man." So I kept him going. I think.
How did it affect you, all of this?
Well, I could have been a widow.
Yeah.
With a 1-year-old and 7-year-old, but I just had that peace that I could never have before. If my pastor didn't say that, do not receive whatever the doctors are saying. Do not receive it in your heart. Just believe and declare that it will be done. God is in control. Just have that in your mind. And that kept me going.
Yeah.
Such a peace that surpasses all understanding. Shalom, his shalom.
Anything that would have happened after that pales in comparison to that. So it doesn't matter anymore, does it?
Yes.
As long as you're alive, it's still okay.
Yes.
I think that's the gift of going through death.
Yes.
So I'm sure you would have had many challenges after that in life.
Yes.
Did it offer you a perspective that you overcame that big hurdle? Now these are not as important?
Yes.
Do you have that? Or not really?
I realized that was the plan of God.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what He allowed us to go through, it means that He knows.
Yeah.
He says that He doesn't give us more than what we can overcome.
Yeah.
So I really trusted Him.
Yeah.
With all my heart, blindly.
Yeah.
Which I would never done before. But I just grew so much spiritually so fast that really blew everyone's mind. Because everyone around, when it happened, everyone was crying, screaming. I was so alert and so at peace that it was unbelievable. Everyone was shocked. So, And I looked.
Peace in the storm kind of thing.
Yes. And not just that, I had that in mind that once this is over, I will have a great testimony. And you remember, I said this testimony in Indonesia was just in one day, there were over 900 people in that opening of the church.
Yeah.
And with translation, Michael translated, which was huge. Then thousands and thousands of people. I went with Pastor Patrick Humberstone for a few churches. We said the testimony. In so many people, to Muslims, to my friend Muslims, to Hindus, to so many people came to Christ just through this testimony, through all the photos and evidence. It's not something that you invent. It's something that you go through. Yeah. So what I asked for,
you received.
We went through fire. We went through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
It was literally death, not just a shadow.
But you know what? That presence, that aspect of the presence of God is only in there.
And the Holy
So
Spirit.
that particular God
Yes.
in the valley,
Yeah.
I mean, he's the same God on the mountain and in the valley, but
Yes.
God in the valley, the presence of God in the valley is different than the presence of God on the mountain. So only those people who have been in the valley with God can appreciate everything else.
Yes.
You know, you can't experience pain in eternity.
Yes, which I'm looking for.
That presence of God in the valley,
yes,
can only be experienced in pain.
exactly.
So even though at the time it hurts, but it's a joy to experience who God is in that moment, I think.
Yes, and there's that song, for the God of the mountains is still God in the valley.
Yeah.
He is amazing. So the amount of maturity that you get through this kind of pain, it's unbelievable. The thing is, maybe so many miracles happen in the hospital.
Yeah.
People were healed.
Yeah.
We were praying for nurses. They got healed.
Wow.
We were praying for an elderly man, Italian, which fell on the ladder a month before.
Yes.
And he had a stroke and he needed surgery to take all the blood clots on his brain. And he continually saw people coming into our room.
Yeah.
There were all sorts of people from all over the countries, like all the countries. And he's like, who are those? And we say, they're our brothers and sisters, they're our family. How come? They're Chinese, African, we're brothers? I said, yes, we're all in Christ. And him being Catholic and me speaking, both of us speaking, me and my husband, Italian, we explained to him everything. The gospel. So he was, wow. And he saw my husband every single day getting better, improving miraculously. So we said to him, one night we had prayer there. A few people came, we had prayer. And he's like, what are you doing there? And we said, we're praying. He said, can I come? And I said, yes. Do you like us to pray for you and you get healed in the name of Jesus? He said, really? And I said, yes. Look, we put a chair in the middle here. You stay in the middle, we'll come around you. We all pray for you, and then you get healed. Do you believe that? He said, yes. Halfway. But then it happened. The next day, the face was actually going down. He couldn't grab anything with his hand, nothing. So next day, he was totally healed. Wow. He started walking all the hallways and everything. They did the ultrasound and the X-ray. Everything was gone. Praise God. His wife, amen, praise God. His wife, I took her on the side because the other family couldn't take it. Yes. Like, what is this? What is going on? I took her on the side. I explained to her. I said, do you want to receive Jesus? Look what happened. She received Christ in the next room. Another Muslim guy next to my husband's bed, same. He said, what's going on here? I said, look, we are Christians. We believe. I want that too. And he became born again too. Wow. He started coming to Faith Horizon Church. I don't know what happened later on, in life, but so many miracles. A nurse kept on coming, very nice nurse, young, 23 years old. She was suffering in the back. And I could see her, and I saw her being there every day from morning to night. I just saw her walking and holding her back and really bad. I said, what's going on? She said, I've been hurt like 3-4 years now. Been doing physio every week. I'm not getting healed. It's so painful. And I said, do you want us to pray for you? She said, okay, but I can't do it like that. So she put the curtains. She went in the middle. My husband was on the bed. He couldn't move that time. We both hold her back, and we both felt electricity going through our hands. Instantly, she said, I am healed. Wow. I felt the pain just left. And literally, she was healed right then. So many miracles, like unbelievable. Through this thing. Yeah. Wow. And it's still happening every day. What's next for you, Carmen? I want more of God. Yes, I want to soak and just be His hands and feet every day, if I can. Yeah. What do you want to be remembered as? It's a good one.
When Lucas or Alex will speak to their children or grandkids about you, what will they say about Carmen?
That I made a difference in his life. To anyone, to people. People need love. People need a smile, a hug, an encouragement. And I think God put that in my heart.
You're very in tune with humanity, which is good.
Which I love.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this
Thank you
beautiful
for having me.
patch of your story, because we
That's a
could talk for
patch.
hours.
Yes, we can.
But it's deep and it's beautiful and it's God.
It is.
Praise God.
Thank you so much.
What a beautiful story, eh? In the deepest valley and in the darkest hour, to just embrace God and stick with Him no matter what, and not receive any of the diagnostic or any of the labels of the enemy, but fully trust in God no matter what, and then see the victory. From pain to victory, even pain in victory. Praise God for that. I pray that the story inspires you to carry on, and whatever challenge you go through in life, just remember, just being alive is a gift of God.
Amen.
Anything else doesn't matter. Just stay and trust God in the season. Stay in His presence. You will overcome. This too will pass. This challenge, this problem will pass. Carmen was holding her husband's body in front of her. He was clinically dead, yet God did a miracle right there and then. And even today, he's alive and well and sharing the gospel, and both of them are enthusiastically expanding and advancing the kingdom of God. Get on with life. Get on with the things that matter and inspire and bless others, and you will see how God will work through you. I hope this inspires you and strengthens your walk with God, and we look forward to catching up next time at Kingdom Stories from Down Under. My name is Natanael.
Thank you for joining us on Kingdom Stories from Down Under. We'd love it if you would subscribe, rate, and share these stories with your wider community. And remember, every story is worth sharing, including yours.